Hello, this is the Bible in fewer words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 41, Exodus chapter 34. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Carol.
I think we're going to talk about the Ten Commandments again.
We are, yeah. Yeah, in this case, it's going to be the first time that the Bible actually uses the word, the Ten Commandments. It was kind of strange because Moses spent a lot of time up on the mountain and he ended up getting some commandments and getting them written. I guess God wrote them on some tablets that he had, but then he broke them because he was angry when he saw all the people dancing naked around Aaron's golden calf. So I guess this is going to be the replacement set.
All right, let's see.
Okay.
God said to Moses, "Make 2 stone tablets like the ones you broke. I'll write the same words that were on the originals."
So Moses cut 2 stone tablets that were like the first ones. Then, early the next morning, he carried them up Mount Sinai.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know how big they are. It never says, but there's a lot of words that are written on them. Written with the finger of God, I guess.
I guess.
When you write with your finger, you'd think you'd have to use some big letters.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that Moses cut them on stone.
He had to cut them. I think he had probably cut the first ones too. Now he's got to do it again, cut them out, carry them up.
Yeah. And go say, "Okay, God, start dictating. I'll write them." Or no, right? God's writing on them. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Then early the next morning, he carried them up Mount Sinai. God descended in a cloud, stood with him, and said,
"I am merciful and forgiving, although I punish children for what their fathers did, even to what their great-great-grandfathers did 100 years before they were born."
Okay, that seems a little extreme, but...
Yeah, it's kind of contradictory, right? I'm a merciful God, but I punish innocent people for what their parents did, and their grandparents did.
Except for when I punished you.
Yeah.
Don't make any covenants with the people in the land where you are going.
Destroy all their altars, images, and groves.
What's a grove?
Groves are talked about a lot in the Bible. This is the first time, I think, but they're mentioned several dozen times in the Bible. They're always condemned. And apparently sometimes it's translated not as groves, but as poles. I guess that what it represents are the Canaanites worshipped a goddess named Asherah. And the poles were called Asherim.
Okay.
And they used that in their worship, and apparently it was like a fertility rite or something, and so they were poles.
Okay, so maybe a grove, that word came because if you had trunks of trees and poles.
Right.
So kind of a phallic symbol.
I think so.
Okay. So God didn't like that.
He didn't, no.
They were worshiping a woman, a goddess.
Yeah, it was worshiping a woman. That can't be good. And he's saying that destroy their altars, images, and groves. That's a commandment.
Oh, all right.
Whenever you see a grove, you got to destroy them.
So cut them down.
Burn them up,
poles,
whatever.
Burn them up. Okay. Don't worship any other god. Because my name is jealous, in quotes, jealous in quotes, and I am a jealous God.
Yeah, that's his name. His name is jealous. You've probably heard of other names of God, like Yahweh or
Jehovah.
And there is a long list of names that he uses, but one of them is jealous.
I'm going to name my first child Jealous.
That's a good idea.
Don't make any covenants with other people. Don't go a-whoring after their gods, and don't eat any sacrifices to them.
So it's a funny way to put it.
Yes, a-whoring.
Well, I think that he means just what he says.
Okay.
I think he thinks of it as being sort of a...
Sleeping around with other gods.
Yeah, it's a sexual thing. You're messing around with other gods. Don't take their daughters for your sons, because their daughters go a-whoring after other gods, and they'll make your sons go a-whoring too.
Okay, that's a lot of a-whoring going on here. That's a horrible.
Yeah. Well, I think the point is that daughters, they will go a-whoring.
Maybe not.
Yeah, they will after their gods.
Oh, okay.
After the other people's gods.
Yeah.
And if you let your daughters marry their sons and your sons marry their daughters, then the daughters are going to be going a-whoring and the sons will go along with it too.
Yes, because women can be so conniving, probably, is what they think. But you know what? If my choice were this God and some other God, I would choose some other God.
I think so, yeah.
This guy's name is Jealous.
Yeah.
For Pete's sake. Okay, don't make any molten gods.
The molten gods.
Yeah.
We've already kind of seen.
Yeah, God does not like that.
Yeah, Keep the feast of unleavened bread.
Okay, what is wrong with leavened bread?
Well, I think that the feast of unleavened bread is the Passover. When they were all in a hurry, and so they didn't have time to bake their bread with yeast.
Yes.
So they just have unleavened bread. So now they're going to have a feast of unleavened bread for forever.
The first male offspring of every womb belongs to me.
I guess what that means is that every son and every male farm animal belongs to God. But your first male donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. If you fail to redeem him, you must break his neck.
Yeah, we've been through this before.
Yeah.
If you don't redeem...
It's a thing with God.
And redeeming is what?
Well, I think the idea is that the donkey, if it's a male donkey, the first male donkey...
In case she has two, or the first ever in her life, I guess.
I don't know enough about donkeys to know how this works. But the firstborn donkey is God's.
Okay.
So if you want that
if you want to keep it for yourself,
you have to redeem it. So you have to give God
a lamb. Redeem it with a lamb.
Oh, okay. You have to redeem it with a lamb. You're right. And if you don't, then you have to break the donkey's neck, the baby donkey's neck.
The baby donkey's neck.
Right.
Not the grown-up
Because
donkey.
it's God's. And so if you don't redeem it, if you don't pay God for it in some way, then if he can't have it, you can't have it either.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, but then the next baby donkey that she has, the mother, she can keep it.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's a good deal. You must redeem all of your sons. So whose neck gets broken here?
Well, I don't know. This is a very bad thing to follow that last line, right? But
yes.
You have to redeem your sons, because no one shall appear before me empty.
And empty means empty-handed.
Yeah,
give me something.
Right. So I guess he wants your sons, and in order to get your sons back from him, you have to redeem them. And I don't think Harry's talking about a lamb. He might be, but he might also be meaning some money. One of those golden nickels.
Why does God need money?
I don't know.
Okay, we're moving on. Don't work on the seventh day. All right, so that is a commandment that I remember back from the other
that's
tablets.
about the only one that's kind of familiar, but besides they don't make any molten gods. So you have a couple here that are familiar.
But these new ones are just kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Observe the Feast of Weeks, of the first fruits, and of the ingathering at the end of the year. Okay.
Those are all kind of interesting terms to me. The Feast of Weeks. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the Feast of Weeks is a Jewish holiday. They still observe today. It's called the Shavuot. It occurs 7 weeks after they begin their harvest. And so 7 weeks is 49 days, so it's like on the 50th day, and so that's where Pentecost comes from.
Oh, yeah. I always wondered what that was.
Sometimes it is called the Feast of Pentecost.
Okay. And then the next one they list there?
The next one, I think, is just another name for the...
Of the first fruits?
So that's first fruits.
Yeah, that's kind of like, harvesting as well.
And I think the last one that's mentioned here...
Of the ingathering.
I think that's a different feast. The first fruits seems to be just another name for Shavuot. But the ingathering, I'm not sure about. It's not celebrated by Jews today, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Only the Shavuot do.
All right, well, thank you for looking that up for me.
Sure.
3 times a year, all your males must appear before me.
Yeah.
He can't see them every day of the year?
That is wild, because it doesn't say what 3 times.
Uh-huh.
Maybe on these 3 feasts that he's talking about.
Okay.
But he doesn't say where either. So somehow he wants every male in the world, in Israel,
Sure,
maybe
let's do
in the
that.
entire world, to meet at one place
Mm-hmm.
at 3 times a year. That's going to be really a hardship on people.
Yes.
It's kind of like the Hajj or something.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's a weird one.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think anybody's doing this. So God must be quite upset by that.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're having bad weather lately.
Maybe.
Don't offer the blood of my sacrifices with leaven. Again with the leaven.
And the sacrifices. You know, the blood of your sacrifices, don't
That's
do
really
it. Don't do it
precious.
with leaven.
Don't pollute it.
Yeah.
I love my blood. Just the way
Don't
it is.
pollute my blood with bread.
Yeah. Don't dip it in
Unleavened.
there.
With leaven, I guess with leaven, it's yeast actually. Doesn't want any yeast on the in his
And the blood.
Oh, interesting. And don't leave any leftovers from your Passover sacrifice until morning.
Really? Because leftovers would be kind of eaten the next day, wouldn't they?
No leftovers.
So you can't eat leftovers.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And the last one.
Yeah. Should we say this one together?
Yeah.
Don't boil a kid in its mother's milk. Okay.
Write these words. They are my covenant with you and with Israel.
So they are my covenant. Like that was kind of what he called his commandments last time.
Yeah, and in the next verse, while Moses was up on Mount Sinai with God, he went without food or water for 40 days and 40 nights. And he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments.
Okay, so there we get the title.
Yes, and we also say, write these words, they are my covenant. And then we have down here that the tablets are the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Now the 10 Commandments here, that isn't what, of course in Hebrew it was something different, but what it meant, it was later translated into Greek, and the words for that was Decalogue. And Decalogue means 10 words or 10 sayings. When the King James Version and other English translations were made, that became, the Decalogue in Greek became the 10 Commandments. But this is the first place that phrase, either in Hebrew, Greek, or in English, occurs in the Bible. So it would imply, it seems to me, like whatever that crazy list is up there, of very unfamiliar commandments.
Yes.
Those are the 10 Commandments.
Uh-huh. So the ones that are in front of the county courthouses or the churches.
They got it wrong.
They got it wrong when they label them the 10 Commandments.
I think so. Of course, it's possible that when he's talking about the 10 Commandments here, he's talking about the 10 Commandments that he had before. He said he was going to replace them exactly looking like it was before.
But they're not looking exactly
so it's
like
either
they
a
were.
contradiction
Yeah.
or, anyway, it's a confusion for sure. What are the 10 Commandments? You can't really say from when you read Exodus 20, where the first version of the 10 Commandments are, or Exodus 34, where we see them here. You don't know which from the text is the actual 10 Commandments.
Okay. I'll pray about that.
Okay.
When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets, the people were afraid of him because his face shined so brightly.
Yeah.
What is that about?
The Shining?
Yeah, The Shining. They made a movie about it.
Uh-huh. I don't know, but whatever it was, artists in the Middle Ages started drawing Moses with 2 horns coming out of his head.
Okay, 2 horns like a bull.
Yeah.
Why would that represent shining?
I don't know, but apparently they thought it was like a cone of light maybe coming out of his head, and it ended up looking like horns.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That's weird. Maybe flashlights coming out there. But the people finally came near Moses, and he gave them all the commandments that God told him about on Mount Sinai.
After he finished speaking, he put a veil on his face to hide his shining face.
Because were people afraid of him?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why. But Moses took his veil off when he talked to God, because God wasn't afraid.
No, he's not afraid of anything. When he came out to talk to the people, he put his veil back on.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that with me.
Sure.
We hope you all have had a pleasant listening experience with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.